Oh
Welcome,
no.
Angry Faithful. I forgot the intro music and the intro video, but it's okay. We're all right. Anyways, thank you all for listening and watching. Let's get into the new stuff. The news of the week, just stuff that I found interesting, what Bill found interesting, and what people sent us found interesting. I have to go over and there's another thing that someone actually sent me. It's like, hey, you got to go over this. I was like, oh, this is on Thursday, and already I'm booked solid with stuff, so it's gonna have to wait till next week. It's some kind of trade deal. I have to look. I barely even saw the name of it. So, if you're listening to this, I apologize. We're not doing it this week. We're going to do it next week. But I'm going to get into it this weekend, and hopefully, it doesn't get bumped out. I'll make sure we write it down what we need to do.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of trade, I didn't see the deal, but did you see that he was there with the German chancellor?
yeah.
And he said, hey, D-Day was kind of bad for you guys.
Oh, really? Oh, yes. Yeah. Guess what today is? We are here and not speaking German because what today is. It was the D-Day operation. What the hell is that called? I hate myself.
Oh, I usually what is it? How is it pronounced? Chandelak? Called the speech by Reagan that he made for D-Day. I usually post that every year.
Go ahead and well, we can do it now if you can find it.
Oh no! I don't need to post it now. I mean, it's a long speech, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's Operation Overlord. I had to look it up real quick because I forgot. But anyways, yeah, big news. I thought I was gonna have decent news. We covered a lot of the Elon Musk exiting and everything, and I was like, okay, so we got to find some different news. Hopefully, it's not a slow news week. Then yesterday happened. Thursday, June 5th happened. What happened, Bill? Was there? Oh, wait a minute. It's in the title. Oh, I'm sorry. Elon versus Trump all day yesterday. My gosh. Someone needs Bill, you muted yourself.
That was so I wouldn't annoy people with clickety clack.
Oh, okay. If anything, get back onto the mic.
Oh, I just found that, and it's 14 minutes long. It's
no. We'll do it at the end of the show, if anything.
Point de Hoc, Normandy in France. Reagan's speech. It's from the Reagan Library video. So,
yeah. What's really interesting about Normandy, if you go during the time frame of like June 6th, because it's a big day in Normandy. I mean, a huge day. You see is like American flags. You have World War II vets that were at Normandy most of the time. They do a jump. I mean, and if you're American there, they treat you like royalty because we freed them from the opposition.
Can you still jump?
If I wanted to.
Well, I know you got injured jumping.
Yeah, if I wanted to.
Would it be painful to jump?
No. My stuff's fixed. It's just
you just have to find out what drugs Elon takes, and maybe that'll help.
No. I can jump. It's no big deal to jump. I keep my legs and apparently not my arms because my shoulder messed up, but I'm working it out. But no, jumping on an airplane's not that bad for me.
I would have to be. It would be like the guy in Congo.
Oh, you would have to be tandem.
No, the guy, push me, please. Push me, please.
No,
And then
you
they kick him out the door.
no. You can do tandem. Tandem, basically, you're hooked up to another person, and they jump out with you.
I
So
would want to do it with one of my cats.
Oh, you can have a cat hooked up to your front too, I guess.
So you could do the tandem and a cat?
I don't see why not.
Huh. Okay. I actually not
That'd be
sure
weird.
that they would like that.
I mean, jumping from that distance and seeing if they still land on our feet would be my question. My other question was, someone told me a joke. They're doing a 101 Dalmatian movie again, but they're going to use brown labs.
I don't think there's any bad music in here.
No, not even music, period.
Huh?
It's not music, period. Any kind of music. What are you getting at? But anyways, getting back.
No, there's no music. But you were talking about a cat landing on its feet. So I've got what you can do with a cat. Let me get it going.
You set this up and it.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we got technical difficulties.
No, you don't. Just add it to the screen. There you go. Now press.
Oh, I just had to add it to the screen. Now press unmute. Hey, this is all new to me, people. Perpetual motion.
that is awesome. Yeah,
like that one, huh?
That's kind of funny. Basically, what it was the guy. He was having a buttered toast, and the toast fell over when he would drop it, and then when he grabbed the cat would always land on its feet, so they duct taped the cat with the toast on top with the butter, and he dropped it, and he just kept on going, and became like it became its own energy source. So
yeah, because bread always falls butter side down when you butter it. They say it just always falls butter side down. Cat always lands on his feet. So
yeah, that's hilarious. Now, going on the topic at hand, Elon Musk versus Trump. Have you been paying attention to that?
Yeah, there's so many theories out. Is it 4D chess? Is he got something going? Is it a distraction? Are they laughing behind the scenes? Or, okay, Elon says it's lies. I still think he's going to lose, what was it, somewhere over $11 billion at the end of the year. Because right now they have the $7,500 EV credit, and the big, beautiful bill gets rid of that. Now, it wasn't a surprise to him. I mean, Trump talked about it, and he talked about getting rid of any green credits. So he dropped the price of the Cybertruck right now,
Yeah,
and
we talked about it last week.
but there's a possibility that he did it so it would still collect the $7,500 because that'll last till the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, they're selling them for like 60,000, I think.
Yeah, that I think the 60,000 is the limit, and how he manipulated it, when the, second Cybertruck came out, one down from the highest model, is he had this base Cybertruck, and he counted some of the features as accessories, so the main truck price could look at being low enough to collect the subsidy. So instead of, "Oh, the truck is 70,000." No, the truck is 60,000. It's got $10,000 worth of accessories.
Yeah, I can see that. And it happens. But here's okay. There's another thing that was in the bill that I'm surprised he didn't even mention is the AI.
Marjorie Taylor Greene has just gone nuts over that, and she said she won't vote for it. But okay, it takes away for 10 years the state's ability to regulate AI. Now, can you imagine? We're trying to beat China in AI. They're going gung ho. Great movie. They're going gung ho on all the AI, and it's united. It's the government paying for it. Can you imagine if we had 50 different regulations for AI? No, that's not going to work. You get into a blue state, and they're going to be grinding it to a halt.
Well, mostly California, because a lot of places are using AI just because it's a lot easier. There was a movie that's coming out. I forget the name of it, but they used a lot of AI because it's an independent movie, and a lot of the overshots that would cost probably about $10,000, they paid like $20 to an AI generator, and they're done.
Yeah. I have a person who came and installed a home phone line. Long story, but he said when I mentioned AI that, "Oh, I hate AI." His son is not going to be able to walk on across the stage for graduation because they caught him on 4 of his papers, and he had lied to him and said it was just 3, but then the principal called and said, "No, he did 4, so we're not gonna let him walk across stage." He used AI to generate his, papers for school. They can either look at, I guess, how perfect it is, or, also they take and they'll bring the person in and quiz them a little bit, and they can tell that you didn't write it, you didn't even read it.
Mm.
So he was caught 4 times, and because of that, can't walk across stage.
Well, okay. Another thing that the reason why Elon is so upset with the big beautiful bill is they're saying now, because I thought the Doge stuff was actually cut from the bill, which they were, uh, but they're going to be implemented after the midterms.
Well, what's happening with it on a continuing resolution, if they put all of that in, it would no longer be a CR and it would require 60 votes. So there's a limited few things that they were able to put in. So they're going to put the rest of it in a rescission package, and they're going to do several rescission packages, and each package is going to have a few of the Doge items in it. Uh, People's questions are, why haven't you been doing that? You could have been doing that all along, every week or two, doing another rescission package for a vote. So that's got people flustered.
Well, okay, and anybody that's listening that wants to understand how government works and why this is taking so long, uh, there's certain things you can bypass as a government entity, like the executive branch. They're allowed to bypass a lot of the stuff and get it through, like the border stuff. Trump owns the border. Trump also owns the military. That's why a lot of stuff for the military is being owned, and it's literally a lot of stuff's getting bypassed and cut. Uh, Hegseth is doing a wonderful job cutting the fat in the military. Now, saying that, there's certain stuff that he can't cut because it's going to have to go through Congress because the funds were actually allocated. Saying it's also one of those things that it has to go through Congress. It's gonna take a while because you got to go through the House, you got to go through the Senate. Yes, there's a lot of people that are trying to. Oh, it's going to be a win for XYZ. It's a win for the national of the people of the United States of America. That's where they should be going. They shouldn't be as like, no, it's a win for the party. No, that's another thing. Elon was talking about too. Should we have a third party called American Party? I believe that is what he was talking about. He's I think it was like I got it up here. 80% have spoken in the middle. I don't.
Yeah, that's an online poll. I voted no on it. And yeah, I
I
would
voted
be in the
yes.
minority.
Vote yes on those things.
We don't want
I think we should have a third party.
we don't want to be Ross Perot.
Okay, we
That's exactly what would happen because the third party right now would be made up of conservatives. It would pull it away from Republicans. Democrats would win everything. Just like Ross Perot blew the election.
what I want and seeing that what the act because Germany does it now. They have 3 parties. Of course, it's going crappy in anyways. But
more than 3.
Yeah. Do they really have more than 3?
Oh God. And the Christian conservatives, they won. AFD is coming up, and okay, AFD does have some radicals in it. Other people say it's the N-word party, that does this weird thing.
Yeah.
And they say they're that party, but they want closed borders. That's one of the big things going on in Europe. The Christian conservatives said, okay, we want closed borders. And they won. And this was, a month or 2 ago. They won. First thing the guy said is, nah, we're not going to do closed borders. So their only alternative to their radical right is a Christian conservative that's what they're called, that just kind of, yeah, they're not, people join it and say, I'm conservative, but they screw them.
So basically rhinos.
And then there's 3 other parties, I think. There's quite a few.
Okay. Well, getting back to America. I've always been kind of, I've been wanting a third party, something to go, hopefully it pans out. I'm that type of person. I want everybody to have a voice. Hence why I have this. But the other thing on there is like 85% of the internet is bots. So how do you know that 80% is actually real?
85% of bots.
Bill. Yes. 85% is bots.
Okay.
That was funny. I loved it. But yeah, it's just ridiculous can you believe those numbers? No. I don't believe those numbers. So what another thing is Elon Musk said he's gonna stop the space shuttle program.
The he was going to decommission the Dragon.
Mm.
That's the one but a couple of hours ago, hour or two ago, I think they came out and said he's backing off of that and he's not going to do it.
Okay, so they're still gonna have the Dragon.
Our our space program would be totally screwed. I mean, and Trump came out and said, or they came out and said, okay, the $15 billion contracts of Elon, we're canceling those. They, they can't cancel those.
Yeah.
I mean, his Falcon 9 is right now, and Heavy is launching most of our satellites or all of them. Right now, he's got a contract for 7 more satellite launches, and 2 or 3 of them are from the National Reconnaissance Office. There are reconnaissance satellites. And then the idea started under Trump. Most of the contracts were signed under Biden for Starshield. And that's our next generation net around the world for reconnaissance.
Yeah.
And I can't see all of a sudden that stopping. And, he's 68 to about 125, 150 million for just a regular satellite launch. And he took over after the space shuttle that far back. And the space shuttle was costing 1.5 to 2.5 billion per satellite launch to put a satellite up there.
Just to take responsibility for our country's future.
I
Oh.
got it, Bill.
I didn't mean to play that right now.
Anyways, since you like to interrupt and do horrible things and press buttons, I love how we're amateur professionals.
I've got new toys.
Yeah, we're professional amateurs.
The toys in the office, not. Yeah, toys in the office.
That could still mean the same thing, Bill. And I know where you're trying to get at. Anyways, back to
Elon and his rockets.
Okay, here's the thing, okay? I kind of believe it, but I kind of don't believe it. Cuz we were talking about it online. I mean, a lot of the stuff, even the Epstein stuff that he was showing on his X feed, or he's posting on X. I don't. He says posts. But the stuff that he posted on X about Trump hanging out with Epstein, we both agreed that was before the island even was purchased.
Yeah, well, he hung out with him a little bit as far as went to gatherings, but any of the plane flights, the Long Island Lolita thing or whatever, he had 7 flights. And yeah, in the Epstein files, they could say, yeah, Trump's in the Epstein file. Yeah, he probably is. He's probably listed as the 7 flights that were before Epstein bought the island.
Yeah.
And what you've got, Epstein was the main financier for real estate, and Trump was the main real estate developer. So they're going to know each other in New York. They both had homes in New York and Florida. So it was more or less on those 7 flights, Trump would hitch a ride when he'd fly back to Florida.
Yeah. Another thing that's kind of like a flash of reasonability with Trump and Epstein stuff is the fact that Epstein was caught diddling kids in Florida and got caught. And I think that was it was in 2010 that he was caught. Let me verify that real quick.
Well, another thing is Epstein's main lawyer was Doug Schoen. And if anyone's paid attention to politics for a long time, he's a liberal guy who's reasonable. He comes on TV. I've seen him for a decade, and he actually analyzes things. And he was Epstein's lawyer, and he came out and specifically said that Trump had nothing to do with any of their case.
Yeah.
He specifically came out and said that, and he represented Epstein in 2019.
Yeah. No, it was 2005, and he was arrested in 2006, and they didn't do anything then.
No,
He was on a house arrest, but he didn't get anything major. But when 2019 happened, when Trump was in office, Trump's like, no, we're going to prosecute. Use every bit of stuff that you possibly can to get that guy arrested, because Trump was talking about this like years ago. He's like, no, that guy gave me the creeps.
Yeah, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago
Mm-hmm.
years and years ago. He bought the island in, I think it was 1997 or 8. I think it was 97. And most of the Trump flights were just approximate 92 to 95, maybe 96. But they were all before he bought the island.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that people don't want to do the research. They just want to hear somebody hear someone say preach the gospel. We'll say preach the gospel. They want that, and once they hear that, it's like, oh no, it's true. All of it's true.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you go and you debunk it online, and then about 6 months later, it comes out again. You'd look at something like Media Matters and Daily Kos, and they broadcast something and say, okay, push this around. It's a lie. And you'd refute that and go on. And then they would stop broadcasting it out. And then about 6 months later, Media Matters go, here's an oldie but a goodie.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd start over with the same thing. And finally, I just had a big post that I would just copy paste the responses. Okay, there's why you're wrong. And I did that for several years, and then I ignored it.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do is ignore it. And yes, sometimes that stuff gets up to speed again. It's like the whole thing with I was listening to Cash Patel on Joe Rogan today. Great episode so far. I mean, I still got like 30 minutes left on it. And he was talking about Russiagate, because he was one of the main investigators for Russiagate. Anyways, he was talking about it, and he literally said, it's like, after I was done, I was sickened because the news media was still talking about it. I had proven without a shadow of a doubt that there were people, especially one guy that's now on CNN, that pushed it and knew it was fake. Everybody that was that touched that knew it was fake, and they ran with it.
And you got, people say, oh, it should be going, we want to see people arrested now. You've got to build a case. Do you want them arrested? And then the next day they're released. And what are they doing? Bongino a couple of days ago, he came out and said specifically, I just found a room with Comey had stashed documents. He said, I just found it. So they're still finding documents that are hidden.
Well, there's a point where you can build a case, and if you can get enough evidence to where it puts them away for a long, long time, do that. And then when you're going to find more stuff. Once they're in prison, you can still tack in like extra years. They can do it that way.
Yeah, but we're just what 4 months into it.
Ash Patel's is only just got his 100 days like today.
Yeah, you've got to look at when they were confirmed. So nothing started until they were confirmed. Then they were confirmed. He still had to build the organization. They were still finding and still finding people they don't trust who are trying to sabotage it. So there's a lot going on to investigate, and things are still in their way.
Yeah.
And that's why it takes time.
What's really funny is him talking about the Hoover building. Because he was like, man, I have to have like a military style thing draped over my office so the stuff doesn't fall on me. It's so unsafe there. You're looking at billions and billions of dollars to fix that place. I get reports every day of pipes blowing up. We have to get out of there. It's a piece of crap. And I was like, oh man, I can understand that.
And Biden, they had already in the Biden administration planned to move it.
Yeah.
So it isn't just a Trump thing, except the two places they planned to move it, Cash didn't choose either one of them because he wanted to be right across from Pam Bondi and them, the Attorney General
Yeah,
office.
he's still all right with it. It's still like close to Washington D.C.
Well, yeah, but these two locations were further out of Washington D.C. that they were going to put it.
Mm.
And speaking of draping something over, this is just kind of an aside. I actually worked in a data center, and I got in there, and the guy was moving a
Big ball of asbestos.
No, like your drain, that goes off the roof, and he was
yeah.
What's it? The roof drain?
It's
leaves.
Fuck. Now you got me thinking.
Gutter and
Gutter.
yeah, it was like that. And he was on a ladder moving it over one day, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I got to direct the rain so it doesn't go on the drives." What? He said, "Yeah, the roof leaks in the data center. It's the second largest wholesale distributor in the country." He said, "Yeah, I gotta move that, or it'll drip on the drives and short them out." And he laughed and said, "Before you worked here, one day he was on the ladder, and he said he was moving it, and then his rear end bumped the emergency stop that shut down the data center." So they had a plastic cover over it after that. But anyway, that's just an aside thing about things falling from the ceiling and dripping.
Yeah. Okay. I'm done talking about Trump and Elon. It's all over the news. Just wait until everything pans out. I'll give you one little thing, and hopefully it basically calms your nerves about what's happening in this world. RFK was suing Trump. Trump was upset, blah, blah, blah. And it's something to do with RFK needed a ride to do something. And Trump goes, "Hey, I'll get you a ride." And RFK was like, "I'm suing you." Yeah, I know. It happens. That's business. Personally, I'll help you out no matter what. That's the type of person he is. There's many stories like that. So I think that's the reason why I think this is kind of like they're gearing up something so they can pass something through. So I'm not sure.
I don't know. There's too many people defecting on the bill, and I thought it was so funny. I wrote it down a few minutes ago. Mike Johnson was on, and they were asking him what it's like, and he said, "I'm crossing the Grand Canyon on a piece of dental floss."
Yeah,
that's what trying to put this thing together is like.
Yeah. Now here's something from the Supreme Court. This is something interesting because there's a lot of people that
6 decisions from the Supreme Court today. Yes, 6. Welcome to June at the Supreme Court. Hi guys, I just hopped off the live. Thank you all for joining. We got 6 decisions from the Supreme Court today. Yes, 6. Welcome to June at the Supreme Court. I'm going to do a quick recap, and anything else that you want me to go more in depth on later, just drop it in the comments and I will hopefully get to it. So 4 of those decisions today were unanimous. The first one is in the so-called reverse discrimination case, which is Ames v. Ohio Department of Youth Services, where a woman who is straight was applying for a promotion. She had worked for the department for, I think, nearly 20 years, and she didn't get the job. They later hired a lesbian woman for the job. Then she was demoted and got a pay cut, and they hired a gay man to be in that position. She argued that she was discriminated against under Title VII, which prohibits discrimination in employment on the basis of race, sexuality, etc. And the court below required her to basically jump through an additional hoop to prove her discrimination claim because she was a member of a majority group. It's a background circumstances test. And today the Supreme Court says, no, under Title VII, that's not cool. Discrimination is discrimination, essentially. You don't have to jump through an additional hoop or meet a higher evidentiary burden if you're trying to show discrimination just because you're a member of a majority group, which in her case was, she was heterosexual. She was straight. So that case got vacated. It's going to be sent back down to apply the correct standard. That was unanimous, delivered by Justice Jackson. The second decision of the day, delivered by Justice Kagan, also unanimous, was in the case where Mexico sued U.S. gun manufacturers and dealers for aiding and abetting drug cartel violence in Mexico. Mexico was arguing, look, we only have one gun shop in our country. It's really hard to get a gun here. All of these members of the cartels are going to the United States, getting guns from you guys and bringing them back here and creating chaos. There is a law that was passed, the PLCAA, which is the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, that was passed by Congress, that basically insulates the gun industry from being held liable for criminality and misconduct with respect to guns. And so the Supreme Court said, Mexico, you actually can't sue the gun manufacturers and dealers in the U.S. because this law basically prevents you from doing so. That was unanimous, delivered by Justice Kagan. The third case was the Wisconsin Catholic Charities case, where Justice Sotomayor delivered an opinion for the unanimous court, where this Catholic Charities group had been denied a tax-exempt status for employment compensation in Wisconsin. And the holding was that Wisconsin Supreme Court's application of the law to this group violates the First Amendment. Specifically, Justice Sotomayor said that the First Amendment mandates a government neutrality between religions and subjects any state-sponsored denominational preference to strict scrutiny, saying that Wisconsin failed there. And so that was a win for the Catholic Charities group. That was unanimous, delivered by Sotomayor. Then Justice Alito delivered a unanimous decision in a Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act case where they reversed the Ninth Circuit, who had applied this additional personal jurisdiction requirement that you had to show minimum contacts in order to sue and pierce foreign sovereign immunities. Generally, you can't sue foreign sovereigns in the United States. So the holding there, Alito for unanimous court, personal jurisdiction exists under FSIA when an immunity exception applies and service is proper. That's it. The FSIA does not require proof of minimum contacts over and above the contacts already required by the Act's enumerated exceptions to foreign sovereign immunities. So they reversed the Ninth Circuit there. Then, in a fifth decision delivered by Justice Thomas, where everyone ultimately agreed in the bottom line, but it was a little fractured, was about a group who, families who were arguing that they were injured because their family members were attacked in a Hamas attack. They were suing Blom, a bank, the Blom Bank, SAL, and they were arguing that they wanted to amend their complaint, even though, as Thomas writes in the opinion, they have been given several opportunities to, and there are rules of procedure that apply, civil procedure that apply when you want to amend the complaint. And Thomas is saying that that's a pretty difficult standard to meet, and it's called Rule 60b-6, and that requires extraordinary circumstances. And those extraordinary circumstances and that standard doesn't become less demanding when they seek to reopen a case to amend a complaint. They must first satisfy that Rule 60b before they're allowed to liberally amend the complaint. And then finally, in a class action lawsuit, the court issued a DIG, D-I-G, which means dismissed is improvidently granted, which means, oopsie, we shouldn't have granted this case, we're not going to decide it. And that was about class action certification, damages class actions, where the question was whether everyone in the class, could they be certified when everyone doesn't have Article 3 standing in the class? So they digged it, they're not going to decide it, but Justice Kavanaugh disagreed and dissented and said he would actually decide it and say that everyone does have to have Article 3 standing. That is your summary. 6 decisions, a whopper of a beginning.
Now, the first two, what? Bill, Jesus, I got it. I love you, Bill. Anyways, the other ones were kind of like just standings of procedure. The other two, the first one, that one's constant woman, yeah. Discrimination is discrimination, no matter what. And she was discriminated about. And what it is they're trying to get rid of a lot of this DEI hire stuff that the 4 years of Biden administration was pushing. Even Kash Patel was talking about it. Instead of like terrorist organizations, organized crime, cartels, all that stuff, they were worried about DEI and some other stuff. And the other one that she was talking about, the second one about Mexico suing the United States gun companies for selling to Mexico. That was Obama. That was the Operation Fast and Furious. Yes, that happened. We ordered I think it was in Arizona. I'm pretty sure it was in Arizona. I comment if I am right or wrong, please. But most of them was in Arizona, and they literally allowed cartel members to buy guns from United States places so they can track them and push them across the border. Now, saying this, that plan wasn't Obama's plan. The Obama administration, that wasn't Obama's plan. Bush's administration thought up this plan. And it's like, nah, we can't really track those guns. So, nah, let's not do that.
The warmonger Bush?
Yeah, the warmonger. Honestly, I don't think Bush wasn't a warmonger. I think
Cheney was, deep into Halliburton.
Yeah, we all know that. What's coming into light, a lot of this stuff is, look who he supported during the 2024 election. Everybody was wanting more guns to Ukraine and more benefits to Ukraine and the Hamas stuff. And guess who gets all that money to help out too? Halliburton. I think he's still the CEO unless he's retired. But yeah, that whole Operation Fast and Furious, it was a big stain in the gun community because what he did was ridiculously stupid. The Obama administration failed, and then, we need to get guns off the street. You put most of them there, you idiot. But anyways, Bill,
did any of those cases make you want to watch Lethal Weapon?
Which one are you talking about?
The one where they mentioned diplomatic immunity. It just hit me where, your diplomatic immunity has been revoked.
Yeah, what was it? Lethal Weapon 2?
Yeah, I can't remember which one, but they were all good.
Now, do you have anything, Bill?
I have a couple of things. You look at Trump and this administration's influence around the world, and Poland just had their elections last week and a half ago, and CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee from the U.S. did CPAC Hungary, and had some leadership there. Some of them were actually leaderships of countries. I'll play a few speeches, and the parts of the speech that I'm going to play are specific to them talking about Vance's influence, America's current administration influence in succeeding in their goals. Now, the first one, I know we talked about the AfD in Germany, and it's controversial, so we won't get into the full controversy. But this lady is highly amazing. She's one of the leaders in the party. We'll catch her. We'll catch her first.
Okay.
That's for us, the alternative for Germany. They want us to take responsibility for our country's future, to exclude more than 10 million voters from proper representation, destroys the very foundations of democratic rule. As J.D. Vance put it, democracy rests on the sacred principle that the voice of the people matters. There is no room for firewalls. Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for these words in your magnificent speech on the Munich Security Conference. It restored confidence in the minds of countless European citizens. It is my firm belief that the future of our civilization is not merely a question of right versus left. Today, the true front line runs between authoritarian centralism and bureaucratic paternalism on the one side, and those who believe in and defend civil, economic, and intellectual freedom in our countries on the other.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief.
Are you giving free commercials, Bill?
The wind of change is blowing strong in Europe and in the Western world. The future belongs to free, patriotic citizens and sovereign nations.
Okay, she's that's part of the AfD. Yeah, controversial. But remember, the big thing about Germany is they're happily arresting people for memes.
Well, most of Europe is doing that right now.
Yeah, they've got a group that is specifically focused on it. I can't remember her name, but one of the people, she was actually laughing about arresting people for a meme as they were going through it. Let's see.
I really want to make a meme now about Germany, but I'm gonna take the higher road. See what I did there?
I can't. I would just love to do an Elon right now, but I know someone might be out there and catch that freeze frame, and that wouldn't be so good. But here is the next one. This one goes into how they feel that Trump has affected their countries and their elections. This is the Prime Minister of Georgia.
Okay.
Not the U.S. Georgia.
Yeah.
Values. When Georgia recently introduced measures to protect our sovereignty and ensure NGO transparency, we were met with threats and sanctions just because we dare to say, let's protect Georgia and let Georgia decide. All of the above-mentioned worrisome developments, breach of world peace, interference in the internal affairs of other countries, struggle against their national and religious identity, gender and LGBT propaganda, attempts to undermine family values, global violation of the media freedom and censorship, liberal fascism, are being coordinated from a single center.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh. We don't do advertisements, Bill. What are you doing?
We have been calling the center the Global War Party since 2022, while the new US administration calls it the Deep State. We are happy that the US President Trump and his administration have announced a fight against the Deep State. The infamous foreign intervention tools such as USAID and NET, through which the Deep State attempted to stage 4 revolutions in Georgia over the past 4 years, have been abolished. The new administration's statements and specific steps are really encouraging. However, this is not enough. It seems that the Deep State is still deeply rooted in American and European bureaucracy, which is clearly evident from the specific steps taken against Georgia. A clear example of this was the 6 unjust resolutions adopted by the European Parliament against the Georgian people, as well as the so-called FRIEND Act, recently adopted by the US House of Representatives, which is no less unjust and represents an attack on the Georgian people. I hope that President Trump will successfully weaken the Deep State, which will undoubtedly have a positive impact on the healing of both Georgia-US and Georgia-EU relations. We wish the new administration success in this very important fight. Finally, I would like to extend my best wishes to all leaders around the world who are standing firm against radical left liberalism and the influence of the Deep State, those who continue to defend national sovereignty, traditional values, and the will of their people. God bless Hungary, God bless Georgia, and God bless the free world. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean,
now notice he got into the Deep State.
yeah.
And when he got into the Deep State, he mentioned USAID.
Yeah.
Who USAID, all they do is help feed the children. Elon is starving children's. So I was looking up the
Okay, here's the thing about USAID. AID. Because the CIA doesn't want to get their hands dirty, they use that. Now, a lot of the stuff that they it's jotted down, okay? Giving Sesame Street show in Iraq. They name whatever they name it in. Okay, here's the money. We want you to do it for the Sesame Street thing. Okay. Why do the puppets look like SAM missiles? I'm curious. Why does the puppets look like SAM missiles? Oh, because we spent it on SAM missiles. Sesame Street, SS. We thought you said SAM missiles. Double S in missiles. That's what you meant, right? No. Yes, that's what we meant.
well, also Soros-backed NGOs have been working to elect progressive leaders around the world. He mentioned USAID. All I was searching for is Hungary's election. And I found a publication from Liechtenstein, small country. I didn't even know it was a country, from a publication in Liechtenstein. And it was mentioning the rise of a radical leftist, Pete Maguire. And I read the article, and it got down to what has helped the guy and what has helped other politicians. And here's a section of the article. It said, it is already apparent that the upcoming 2026 Hungarian election campaign will be influenced by the EU and the United States. American and European interference in Hungarian politics has persisted since the collapse of communism has infested intensified, particularly since 2010 during the second Fidesz government. Mr. Maguire represents foreign forces seeking to overthrow Mr. Orban and the Fidesz government, including the EU and the American Democrats. Recently released documents concerning the activities of U.S. aid reveal that since 2008, there have been contracts, grants, and direct payments and loans related to Hungary totaling $842 million. Most of the funding was directed, often channeled through EU and Soros foundations, toward NGOs widely regarded as green left-leaning and the circle of green left media that facilitated Mr. Maguire's rise. The data, which has been public only since mid-February, raises serious questions about whether Mr. Maguire's rapid ascent was due to a series of random, unusual events or the outcome of a long-standing strategy. So that's part of the USAID money going through Soros organizations, through NGOs, and then funding progressive political opposition in various countries in the EU.
Yeah, a lot of countries are actually banning NGOs from certain countries now. And that includes us. They're banning NGOs from the United States because of that. And a lot of these NGOs that we funnel money through aren't just from like United States NGOs. Some of it's through we give the money to like some NGOs that are over in like Turkey or something like that, and they use the money to do whatever. And yeah, it's a constant. We've been doing this since 1950. So that's since the creation of USAID. Has it been since 1950?
Well, the ascent of the Soros and current progressive organization putting together their framework to do this around the world
1961.
It began in the late 70s. The current framework, that's when they started building it. That has become the UN and the World Trade Organization.
It was established in 1961.
Right. But the organization of it as it stands now that they have built on was in the 70s. Some of it started with the Nathan Cummings Foundation, and you can track them back to the late 70s.
Okay, here's the thing about USAID. It was supposed to be countering Soviet influence. So, we don't need it now because of that.
Well, I've got a couple more clips. I got two here from,
Go ahead.
Two that are actually from Viktor Orban. Now, okay, don't get too distracted by it. This is the most dramatic sounding translator person I have ever heard.
Middle Eastern Christians, house mayors from Paraguay, Tony Abbott from Australia, all excellent, brave, and wonderful people. I also welcome you. God brought you to Hungary. My friends, what a change in a year. A real civilizational revolution. Donald Trump has won. The Trump tornado has swept the world and completely changed it. He has given hope back to the world. We will not drown in the sea of waves. Migrants will not drown in us. He has given back the hope of a normal life. He has given back the hope of peace. There are many who have helped him. We congratulate those who were there at the fantastic American victory. This is the greatest return of the Western world ever. The one big, beautiful comeback. And what a blow, my dear friends, what a blow to the left wing, which has not only returned, but is doing what it promised its voters. I am also looking at this coldly. Is this possible? Is this not only possible in Hungary? The first 100 days of President Trump are a real serum of truth. Not only for America, but for the entire Western world. You came illegally? Go home. He broke the ginger regulations. He violated the critical procedure. He banned the woke ideology from the army. He fell into the deep state. He blew up the global liberal network. He revealed all the truths we had in mind. He covered businessmen, shadow institutions, money laundering machines, the money laundering of politicians and politicians in foreign countries, including Hungary. Here stands in front of us, without a trace, the entire Soros empire, without a trace of the king. What a terrible sight. My friends, the light is finally shining into the darkest corners.
And I've got
You got what, Bill?
yeah. Hold one moment. I've got a second section from him. That's a short section. This is his the end of that current speech, and more of what he thinks of. Oh,
You'll figure this out one of these days, Bill.
yeah.
There you go.
We are bigger than the LPP. Of course, politics is not only mathematics, but it is also far-sighted. We must slowly, step by step, and surely come to an agreement. By the time for the decisive battle comes, we must be united. But first, my dear friends, everyone must win at home. For the Poles, dear Mateusz, it is Sunday. For the Czechs, dear Andrei, it is autumn. For us, it is spring. And then for the French too. And then we are done. Then Brussels' return to the hands of the patriots can begin. For this, we need America. We need a successful administration of President Trump. We need the dissolution of the transatlantic deep state, the closure of the American Brussels liberal coalition. We need the closure of the American liberal monopoly. That is, the European and American patriots need each other. The mission is clear. The task is not complicated. We must go home, and everyone must win their own election. We must only win. The rest will go by itself, like a wheel. After America, we Europeans will take back our dreams, and we will occupy Brussels. Let's make Europe great again. Long live Hungary. Long live the patriots. God bless Hungary.
Okay.
So that's the common theme when people say, "Oh, the immigration." No, it's not an American thing.
Yeah,
It's not an American thing. It's a worldwide thing.
One other thing, I just found this. Apparently, let me get this through. I want everybody to see this. Dr. Phil is into the room.
Honestly, I think both you guys need to chill the fuck out right now. I'm not even playing.
Okay.
I will fuck shit up if I have to. But you two are going to stay right fucking here until you patch things up. You understand? So, Mr. President, you go first. What would you like to say to Elon?
Elon, I said some things that were out of line, and I'm genuinely sorry. I want you to know I love you like a son. I mean, you do need to work harder on not tweeting crazy shit and pushing away people who love you, but I want you to know I love you, and I want to be your friend again. What do you say?
We'll work harder.
Just amazing. Just amazing. Dr. Phil can bring everybody back together. By the way, that was AI.
Was it?
Yeah, it was AI. Yeah, you could definitely tell. Now, in more recent news today, and this came up on my feed here recently, FBI agents have been pushed through Los Angeles to help out ICE because I think that is not the video. Yeah, here we go. And this is what's happening in Los Angeles right now. Now, this is only 18 seconds. There's longer videos.
Watch as the person in front falls and hits his head on the ground. And that just seemed like it was an injury. But then these agents then moved aside and then immediately took off. And we watched these agents watch as the person.
Now, no, that was it. What's happening is ICE agents are being stopped by protesters in California, and they're threatening the ICE agents. And this is Los Angeles, California. They're threatening the ICE agents. It's just a cluster right now. But FBI agents have been sent in to help protect the ICE agents. So,
and Hakeem Jeffries is out of control. He's totally out of control.
What?
Saying, well, they shouldn't cover their faces. Why are they covering their faces?
Oh,
because they're against Democrats, and Democrats, the party of violence, they're attacking the people's families. Cash Patel just got swatted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was talking about that. Yeah, for what people don't know, swatting is what they do is they call the police. They falsify a report that someone is being detained or something, or something really hazardous. And the SWAT team goes in and busts down the door. And sometimes, if the person they know there, then some people know the police department, and they get swatted and they get their place raided, and they go in, they look around, it's like, oh, there's nothing here that's wrong. I was like, yeah, it's because one, they get doxxed. Two, a lot of the people that get doxxed, or they have publicly known addresses and everything, and then they do that, and that's what happens. And that's the reason why they cover their faces. Real heroes do that. I read comics all my life. It's the reason why Spider-Man keeps his secret identity. Because
and that's the reason why Superman wears glasses. So you don't know who it is.
And FYI, no part in this that we believe that Bill is a superhero. Even if he removed his glasses, he still wouldn't be a superhero. You know what? Even after you dyed your mustache, you still look like Hitler. That's the wrong hero. You take your glasses off, and all the white drains off of your mustache, and the blackness comes in deeper, and you're like, that's not the right superhero.
Well, I also had a little issue trimming the mustache from this side. Notice, kind of.
No. That's all
I've got one more small video, and this is from a couple of weeks ago, and I think we played this, but I'll play it again because the guy actually won. The guy actually won in Poland.
Legal migration, we will stop the anti-American change in Europe.
Będziemy opierać się nielegalnej imigracji i będziemy opierać się antyamerykańskiej polityce w Europie.
Donald Trump! 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 Donald Trump is not just a person, is a symbol of freedom that will cover all the free world.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of times other countries adopt American stuff, and that actually makes me feel all warm inside.
It's
Is
it's not just adopting things, and it's what I saw because I've been following around the world these issues for quite a few years. I watch just as much news from the EU, Canada, Australia, and the UK than I do American news. And I've seen this, and I knew what would happen with Trump. I had followed the people, even an actual senator from Australia had the Trump with his fist in the air as his background on his X account. That's how much they looked toward Trump and hoped he would win, because it took him as an example that they could break away, because this border issue is every country all at once.
Which doesn't benefit anybody.
It benefits the people who are behind it, the UN, World Economic Forum, and their redistribution of people around the world.
Well, it's messing with their lifestyle now, because a lot of the people that cross that border are causing havoc, especially in Germany. But here's something else that I found interesting. Let me feel you.
An interesting news cycle. As best I can tell, a few days ago, Elon Musk got very upset over the big, beautiful bill because it doesn't do nearly enough to cut federal spending, which is understandable. By the same token, Donald Trump also got upset because he's worked very hard on the big, beautiful bill and thinks it's the best way that he can get a number of things that he promised he would do with the number of votes that he actually has in the Senate, which is also an understandable argument. So Trump responds by accusing Elon Musk of not liking the bill simply because it cuts EV subsidies. And then Elon Musk responds with, Trump's on the Epstein list.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Yes, Ron, it did. But here's my question. Do we really think that the same Biden administration that weaponized the entire DOJ to try to destroy Trump would have sat on a select piece of evidence that could have ruined him forever? I don't know if I'm buying that one. But look, the bottom line is we got a lot of problems that we got to try to work through in this country, and this isn't helping. And I think the only way we can actually get to the bottom of this particular dumpster fire is if we can have someone that we really trust come in and analyze it. You know, someone like Kanye. That's a joke. We do not need Kanye's take on this one.
I love that guy. He's so hilarious. I think he's a senator in Kentucky, I believe.
Was it? I hadn't seen him.
Really? He's all over he's all over my feed because I follow him. But yeah, he's really funny. He puts in political aspect. He was actually on the Unsubscribed podcast. But yeah. Now, getting into
do you want to get into I don't know. I don't think the channel would get an X. I think it's just an issue of demonetizing if you say these words, like if you say the real word for boom booms. Can we say boom booms?
Guns?
Just like you say, no, boom boom, bombs.
Yeah.
Channels now are getting demonetized for saying the word bombs.
Well, we're monetized right now.
Okay, good. I'll do bombs. What did you think about the bombing of the Russian bombers by Ukraine?
One, we shouldn't be in this fucking mess at all. We shouldn't give them any money. We shouldn't have done anything. It was our fault, honestly. For part of it. It was our fault for part of it. Okay? It just gave Russia an excuse to go after Ukraine. He already went after Tanzania, and then he went over, and we put like anti-air apparatus. Obama's administration did put anti-air apparatus with the help with NATO, saying he was helping from that. which gave Russia the excuse to start an attack because they felt unsafe. Now, saying is if that didn't happen, if the air defense didn't happen, would Russia still try to go after Ukraine? I say yes. I say yes 100%. And that's just my opinion. And the reason why I believe this is because there's documentation. I even messed that one up the second time. Documentation that Putin wants to basically get back all the stuff that they lost during the Soviet Russia. Lost and just gave up. That's what he wants. He wants Soviet Russia back.
But here's an issue with that bombing. Why were Russia's bombers out in the open?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Why were they open home? You don't keep your planes out in the open like that unless you're about to fly them.
Because they're required to because of us.
Really?
You know, they've had the you've heard the SALT treaties, and I had some neat notes for it, and I can't find them, so I'll just have to go with scanning around. SALT treaties going back to, I believe, Nixon. They had SALT 1 or SALT 2, and then there was the START treaties, and the START treaties were implemented by, I believe, Obama. And part of these treaties are, we have to verify your nuclear capabilities. You have to verify ours.
Yeah, we had Russians at Dias Air Force Base all the time.
In that treaty, it states your bombers must remain visible so that our surveillance can see what you've got. It's in the START treaty. And it's been there since, I think it was 2010. So theirs are in the open because of us. They don't notify us that they're going to do this bombing. So our treaty that's to help ease the world from nuclear tension isn't worth the paper it's printed on now. Because they did that, and our treaty is the reason they were out in the open. And I'm sure Zelensky probably knew that. And what started me looking into it is Mike Flynn came out with that. So I dug into the treaties a little deeper. He says, FY, those bombers that were hit have to be out in full view due to nuclear treaty obligations with us. Zelensky took advantage of that. So now how good is our main nuclear arms reduction treaty with Russia? Where's it going to go after this?
That's a good question.
That's the big worry, because Russia could say your treaties are worthless. So it's not, we did not authorize that. You know, our CIA and all that did not authorize that. I truly believe we didn't know, because anyone over here would have known it would have had an effect to treaties that we have had with the Russians since Nixon.
Yeah. Shit. Well, any attack right now, because we're trying, Trump administration and a lot of other people are trying to stop the war from happening again, and trying to get our $300 billion back. But yeah, it's that is so messed up and weird.
Yeah, you wondered why the bombers were out in the open. That's why they had to be, due to a treaty with us.
That doesn't sound good.
No, that sounds like I said, they could look at us and go, you don't control anything else in the world now. This treaty isn't worth
Would
the
it
paper it's printed on.
is it just those bombers, or if they build newer bombers, that act still initiated?
Well,
Is it just that area?
I looked at Grok and I researched that, and there were other bombers that started with the original treaty. But as bombers advanced, it covered the newer bombers as they signed new agreements. Like
So
the latest one was they called it the New Start Treaty, and it was signed April 10th, 2010. It extended in 2021. Now all these treaties, this latest treaty expires. I think it expires February of 2026. So look at all Trump is responsible for during his administration. We've got all the wars, all the tariffs, all the trade deals, and a major weapons nuclear deal with Russia. Is all going to happen during Trump's administration, February 2026. And when we try to renegotiate this, what is he going to do? He's going to look back at Ukraine and go, wait a minute, my bombers got bombed because of your treaty. So is he going to allow that? Is he going to allow us to monitor him anymore? Is he going to hanger those things? And who knows how many he's going to have.
Well, it also
Trump is going to have a hard time in
2020.
February 5th, 2026, when it expires.
That's gonna suck.
And I'm sure that's February. You haven't heard about that yet, but I'm sure he's got to start some negotiations pretty quick. So between his trade negotiations and the thing about Trump 2.0 is he's not letting any of this stuff get to him. He's not letting the media get to him. He's not letting the distractions get to him. He had calls all day. He said, no, I won't take any from Elon. That's done. And he went on today. So he is laser focused. All this stuff, the media lapdogs, yippee yippee. He's laser focused into getting it done. Last time the media would say something and he would have to respond. His ego, he'd respond, he'd attack. He's kept it pretty much in check now as he's kept his focus. And one thing that did happen, and did we mention it a little while ago? We got into the SpaceX rocket, the cancellation of contracts. A little while ago, someone went nicey nice, and Elon said that it's back on as far as his Dragon capsule. I think he'll get the contracts back. Now, one of the other things he was hoping to get that people were saying conflict of interest is the new air traffic control system. Verizon has the contract, but they haven't been meeting their obligations. And they said, oh, it's going to be 2030, 2032 before we've got it in place. We need the air traffic control system updated before that. And Elon could do it in a couple of years. And people were saying that, okay, we should, they broke their obligations. We should send that to Elon because he can actually do it. And the other thing that Trump announced a couple of days ago is Verizon's 100% got the contract. Starlink isn't going to get it. Yeah, there's a lot, but I think, or I'm hoping that SpaceX does get its stuff back. They've got the Lunar Gateway. He might cancel that. Do you know about the Lunar Gateway?
No, I don't know anything about the Lunar.
Oh, we're putting together a space station around the moon.
Oh, that, yes.
And
Well,
Elon,
because the thing I think of is China's doing the same thing because they want to mine the moon. And I talked to a guy that's actually building mining equipment for moon mining.
Right now, we just need a way to get there and spend some time there, and that's why they're looking at building a station. And I think Elon was building the lander. I don't think it was Orion, but everyone's involved in it. It's part of the Artemis project, and they've spent over $90 billion on Artemis, but that's gone to Boeing, Lockheed, uh, the Bezos's thing. It's gone to all of it. Part of the 15 billion that Elon has is for that, and his Starship is going to be needed to get the size, the amount of supplies that they're going to need up there to that. He's got to have something reusable and something that can handle the load.
Yeah.
So, but now Trump, there's rumors that he was going to cancel that, and just like our space station, just there's countries around the world who build different modules for it. So if Trump cancels it, then what? Then who takes the lead? Because other countries have already built some of the modules.
Mm.
So that's going to be an interesting one. So he can't just
Well, the thing,
he can't just cut Elon off the SpaceX.
No. That's not the scary thing. You said other countries, right? Are they obligated to have those parts and everything to give to the United States or give to SpaceX? Are they obligated? They have to do that?
Well, it's just like our current International Space Station. Each component, each module, there's different countries, France and
No,
whatever.
I get that. Here's the thing, though, that you're not looking at is if SpaceX doesn't do it anymore, who are they going to sell the product to?
Well, it's not an issue of sale. It's the issue is how are they going to get it there?
That's
Now
not
they're not going to go in with Russia. They're not going to go in with China.
No, they could.
I don't think they will. Russia and China are doing their own things. No, this is a free world.
Well, you could still buy it and reverse engineer it.
No, they already do that. Well, they're not going to sell those components. They'll find another way to get it there. Whether they brace Bezos's Blue Origin, maybe they wait until it's capable. There are other countries other than just China, Russia, and us that are launching rockets.
Yeah, India.
Yeah, some of them successfully, some of them not.
I mean, we could talk about North Korea's sub. That was hilarious. I caught a glimpse of it. I was like, we made new sub. It is in the water. It is sinking. Very good. It's not coming back up, is it? No, it's not. I think it broke in half.
No, it's it's gone.
I guess they got the what was that the billionaire company that was going down to see the Titanic? The Ocean Gate stuff.
Yeah, and I think I got an email on that a few days ago on new things on Netflix, and there's a documentary or movie or something that just came out and was released on Netflix about it.
Yeah, I was gonna watch that.
Can you imagine that? Oh, well, I guess you can't imagine it because they didn't know. They didn't know it was.
I still like
No.
the the thing with the controller, the Linux.
Oh, that it used like a Nintendo controller or something.
No, they used a I think
or an Xbox controller.
It wasn't even an Xbox. It was a Logitech.
Logitech?
Yeah, because it was cheaper.
Hey, some of the Logitech stuff's kind of pricey. I'm looking at a new mouse and keyboard that can do. There's a new thing that they have where you can actually slide over, click it, and go from one computer to the other, not going from one monitor to the other with the mouse and keyboard. Because for a while, I'm going to have two keyboards set up because I'm running two. And once you get used to this little guy, you just can't use a regular mouse. Once you
if if it doesn't cut it, I'm going through the 130. Well, I gotta find a pen or something or use blood.
yeah, it falling down and hitting the drums was
That classic.
was perfect.
That was good. I'm gonna find that and make it a clip.
Me holding up the mouse and dropping it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a clip. I'm making it a clip if I have to do it myself. I don't care. But anyways, what else? Oh yeah, here's one. Nah, I can't use that one. Here's something that is interesting. Chevron explains Permian output and amidst tariffs and workforce reduction. Chevron is intensifying its Permian Basin operations admitting to sustaining production at $1 million barrels of oil equivalent per day in Q2 2025. This move comes despite the ongoing workforce reductions, including 600 job cuts in California, as part of the broader strategy to reduce global workforce by 15 to 20% to achieve 2 to 3 billion in structural cost reductions by the end of 2026. The company anticipates minimum impact from tariffs is estimating to only 1% increase in shares will cost. Now, saying that, there's actually a lot of stuff I've been following. I don't know how I got it, but I ended up watching a lot of stuff from oil companies and everything. And there's a wave of certain companies stopping oil production for a little bit. And I don't know why. I mean, summertime, they usually bump up oil production. But the oil per barrel right now, I think is at $60 a barrel.
I haven't followed that.
I follow it because I like cheap gas.
Well, I tell you what,
its current price is 63.22 and 65.34 for Brent crude, according to oil price. So it's going down, which hopefully gas prices go down a little bit.
Well, the oil that I followed is the issue in Canada. You know, you still have Carney is not going to allow Alberta to do anything with their oil. And they had a meeting a few days ago, Carney with the other leaders of the provinces of Canada, and they were trying to drill him on oil joke on we need pipelines because we need a backup because America's not getting our stuff, so we need a backup to send it to the coast. And Carney is an environmental nut job, and he goes he wants, and he said this couple of days ago. If you find the meeting, it's decarbonized barrels of oil. He wants decarbonized barrels of oil.
What does that mean, Bill?
Basically, in a roundabout way, they either do carbon capture, extremely expensive, or the oil companies would have to buy carbon credits to offset it. Which there is a company in the United States that Carney is part of that actually deals in carbon credits. Odd, just a coincidence. But carbon capture and storage, and he wants net zero oil. And there's a couple of ways to do that besides the carbon capture. There's plant trees. I mean, I wrote an article on an environmentalist in 1999 that was labeled as Big Cow Next Target. And it went into Exxon had just spent $300 or $500 million to plant trees to help absorb the carbon, because what we emit with our vehicles is plant food. Anyway, the other thing is, and I was going to get a picture of it, and I didn't have time. Core Solution, it has direct carbon capture. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Massive machines that pull in carbon.
Mm-hmm.
So Carney is looking at they mentioned that Carney is looking for stuff like that. There's no way Alberta can do that. Too expensive their industry to even do it. And then he's talking about other countries we sell it to if they pollute whatever, having them purchase carbon credits also.
So basically what he's doing, he there's no market for what he's marketing. So he's creating a market.
Well, they've done already. They have carbon credits. I
got that, but he owns a company that does that, so he's forcing them to do that so he can get money.
Yeah, there's a lot of web of Carney owns a lot of different companies that benefit from what Carney's doing, and I've followed that.
I really feel for the Canadian people. You know what? We make fun of them a little bit, but that's just Jess. Okay, I feel for that kind of stuff because you're just creating your own stranglehold. Look what those stupid people in Germany did. Well, they created 2 world wars, but they also destroyed all their nuclear facilities. And guess what's happening right now? They have to suck the tit out of freaking Russia right now just to get energy. Because it was like, oh, we're gonna be environmental friendly. Oops. We messed up. And right now, what's really funny is the United States is actually seeing this, and they're creating. Google is making a bunch of nuclear facilities, so they can run their AI programs because the AI. That's not good. That's weird. But Google running any kind of AI program that needs to be ran, it has to. It draws in so much power for cooling and all the stuff that powers a AI environment. I'm kind of curious. Oh, it's a speaker. Anyways, so people are the actual God, I lost my train of thought because I'm tired. Sorry, folks. The tech companies are creating nuclear facilities so they can offset it. They're not using like solar. Oh, solar is so safe. No, they're using nuclear power because it is the best way to get a whole lot of energy and it's cleaner.
I don't have it right in front of me, but in Australia, they have recently, there's insurance that people who have solar farms and wind turbines and they have livestock nearby, there's insurance that they have to purchase because the livestock, it's getting in to the system, and basically you're getting contaminants in the livestock. Say rain hits the solar panels have cracks, problem, they're old, it leaches into the soil. So now they're forcing some people who have farms that have animals near that to purchase insurance for it. Yeah, how clean and safe. And I had something I was going to mention about your AI and power. I heard Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, is going to build a massive data center, AI data center in Alberta. Because Alberta does have energy, and he's going to be able to build off the grid. Now, I just now looked it up, and there was an article in December about he backs off of it. And then there's another article in April that it's back on. World's largest, called Wonder Valley. World's largest AI data center he's building in Canada.
That's another thing that I'm surprised there's not a lot of people doing it that have the money to do it, is creating data farms.
Well, they have to be so huge, and I'd like to know. In fact, I asked the person who did an install here from Spectrum, and I asked him, has he heard anything about, there was supposed to be a data center built here behind the old budget call center building.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a massive data center. And I heard about it a year or two ago, and then I just haven't heard anything about it since.
I mean, the purchase of the land itself, it's like $2 million.
Behind the call center? Well, I know one thing about the call center. It's got some nice new fiber lines going to it. Why do I know that?
Because you had them put them in.
No. I worked there, and it was budget truck reservations, and they had Avis and budget in there. Now, Avis had additional call centers, but if you called to rent a budget moving truck, you were calling there. That was the only call center in Wichita Falls. Or the Wichita Falls is the only one in the world call center they had.
Really? Why did it go under?
Well, it didn't, but hold on. When they were repairing the bridge across where the Walmart is, they drill down in the ground and they pull it back up in a lot of little bitty wires. The call center was down for a day and a half. They had to put new wire in.
Oh wow!
And it didn't go under. It's a long story on why. I was a supervisor at the time, and sometimes vice president or something, you blame it on them, the leadership. Sometimes they don't know exactly what's going on, and I reversed engineered a spreadsheet they were using for the stats for the agents, and I said, this thing is backwards. You're putting your worst agents at the top. And I tried to mention that in a conference call, and the local lady who was leading the call center, she went, And then someone else would say some BS and she'd go, Vice President didn't know anything that was going on. But another leader, the head of the call center, his main people were in Tulsa. So basically, he got ours shut down so his could survive.
Oh, wow.
And then our call center went to Canada, and I had a big Super Bowl party the day of the last day of the call center. I didn't work Sunday, but I worked Saturday. So someone put it on speaker and started prank calling the Canadian call center. They had no clue. It was brand new. They had no clue about miles and stuff, kilometers, and he would just confuse the hell out of them. I want to talk to your supervisor. We don't have supervisors here.
That's hilarious.
It was pretty good.
So we got anything else, Bill?
Well, I got one thing. I got our
Can you make it 5 minutes?
Oh, less than that.
Okay.
It's our AI tip of the week.
Oh, okay.
And here's one. I was installing a wall mount. This is a short one. This isn't big like it diagnosing my medical issues. But I was installing a wall mount for my microphone boom. And got the wall mount, and everyone in the reviews said, don't use the anchors that come with it. They're garbage. They'll pull out of the wall. I happen to not have a stud where the thing needs to be mounted. So I was concerned about the type of wall anchor I would use. And I said, if I wanted to mount an InnoGear MU059 to the wall using a wall mount, what pound limit drywall anchor should I use? It has a pretty strong spring. So he goes through with the key considerations, the recommended anchors, type of installation. And then I said, the mount has holes for 3 anchors. I had purchased the wall claw hammer in drywall anchors rated at 90 pounds. Those are my favorite. Very, very good, very easy to deal with. I haven't screwed up a drywall since using them. Should that be okay? It comes with anchors, but a lot of reviews on Amazon where I got it say they're lousy anchors and don't use them. So he actually did an analysis where he went through the Amazon reviews. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I see where people have problems with this and this. And he looked at my my kind of anchor, and he came up with the 3 wall claw hammer and drywall anchors rated at 90 pounds are more than adequate for mounting the InnoGear MU059, even with a strong spring. The combined 270-pound capacity provides a substantial safety margin for the 4 to 5 pound load dynamic forces. The concerns about the mount's included anchors are mitigated by your choice of high-quality wall claw anchors. As long as you install them correctly in suitable drywall, you should have a secure and reliable setup. And then I said, okay, thanks. I want to put one in a stud, but it wasn't lined up right. Here's the mount. So I gave him the model number of the mount, and he went in, confirmed the viability with that particular mount. He looked at the reviews and gave installation recommendations and came up with a conclusion. So I feel perfectly safe that I'm not going to rip the thing out of the wall.
If anything, you can create a new stud by I know how to do it. I just
create a new stud. I'm right in the middle between 2 studs, and I don't really want to pull the sheetrock out.
Yeah, that's basically what you have to do to create a new stud.
Yeah, but he said the 90 pound wall claw for this, and that's the point. I wanted to know, did he think that was safe enough, or would I have to move things around and go into a stud? And he came to the conclusion, so I feel secure now that it's perfectly safe and this isn't going to pull out of the wall.
No, it shouldn't, depending on the weight, especially if look at this. That is not connected to any studs. It's the drywall screws. You just poke them in, pop them in, and this thing is probably around about 15, 20 pounds.
Well, the issue is I have to pull this thing all the way out and over toward me from the wall, and I had to, for the heavy microphone, I had to adjust the springs so the springs are even tighter. So that's a lot of force. It's not just the weight; it's the force of the springs when you move them.
Okay.
And that's what I was concerned with. I knew, okay, this weighs how much, but I don't know the mathematical physics of calculating the forces of the spring. But he was able to reassure me that this will be fine.
Oh, that's good. Well, everybody that's been watching, and we gained more people out throughout the show, so we're up to 8. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Glad that you came aboard. Maybe you can do some comments and everything.
And those 8, you really need to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Because we do this every week, and you don't want to miss any of our fine episodes.
Especially when we do stupid stuff. All right, everybody. Thank you all for watching.
The stupid Bill clip of the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna find that. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. I'm David Dickerman.
And I'm Wild William.
Have a good, lovely weekend, everybody. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.